Hi, it's Robbie from Southern California, and today I'm going to do something on walking onions. I grow the baby walking onions on the top here. These are upside down planters, but you can grow them in anything. I've got them in flower pots and everything around here. Just anything that's got holes, good drainage, I put them in. But here is the dilemma. I've got some growing over there, and I had 3 sets growing here. Look how beautiful this one is, okay? These are, Notice what's here. I should have showed you before I tore this apart. This is the perfect setup for microclimates. This has got one climate, this has got another one, and that one's got another one. This one, as the sun comes across, gets on to this one, a little bit on this one, and almost nothing on this one. Not enough sun, okay? So the one that gets a lot of sun, these are doing really good. They're overcrowded and we want to get the weeds out. That's one thing we don't want. But notice they're having babies. There's a little bit of blackfly back here. Now, why is there blackfly back there, but not here? This is from my old spearmint just laying there. Think about this. This is why I love talking about nature and microclimates. As the sun comes across the house and we're going into summer, which we're not at summer yet, there's less sun there, more here. Notice nothing with blackfly here. Oh, 1 or 2 might have crawled over, but they're from the back. Less sun. So you've got different climates, different temperature, different everything, sunlight going back there. Here, the same thing, more shade, and then here was a disaster. Blackfly, which is a type of aphids, they just love onions, walking onions, and they will just go onto the plant. Now, I'll tell you the truth is they really don't do any damage. Not to mine, very little, but they do kind of suck a little bit of the nutrients out so they don't get so big, but they still grow. The problem is they don't like the sunlight. They don't want the sun beating on them, the warm weather, and so they hover to this and they adhere themselves. There's one there. That's all we've got there, but here we have more, and they will live there. Now, as the sun rises, but unfortunately here it is rising that way, then as the sun starts to beat on them, they disappear. All right, so we do really good in the fall here when we get full sun there, but back there they're gravitating. They've gone from here, and as the sun is changing, they're moving around. They're getting away from the sun. In here, we've got this celery growing here. They're creating some shade for them, and they can live here. Look at that. This one was getting very little sun, not enough. It was getting sun, but just not enough to get rid of them, and this was absolutely covered in them. Here are the ones I pulled out. I mean, they were black, just black with them. So what I'm going to do now is get out that one, probably that one. I may leave that for now, and I'm going to plant lettuce. I don't have blackfly on my lettuce, and the lettuce doesn't want a ton of sun. They'll get enough sun to grow. I can tool this and cover it and protect my lettuce. And in the meantime, I can decide what I want to do with the rest. And then come fall, when the sun is dropping and going that way again, and this gets full sun later, I can go ahead and later on, as the lettuce dies back, put more baby walking onions in there, because my walking onions walk twice. They start in the spring, and as you can see, they're going to finish in the summer. And then in the fall, they walk again, and then I'll have more sets of babies, which I can put in there when the lettuce is done. So if you've got walking onions and you've got an issue, oh, they're not growing good, look down here, even here, it needs a little more sun. See the blackfly? It's in the shade. That's what happens. But yet the plant is doing okay. It just needs a little grooming. You can wash that off. Don't use any insecticide. If you really want to use something, a little bit of dish soap on your hands with water, mix it half and half, rub it on the plant, and then wash it off into the ground. But really, a good spray from the hose or with your hand with water, wash it off. Put some rubber gloves on if you want. They're not smart. They don't travel really good. You'll get rid of them. 2 or 3 washings and you won't even see them. I just don't have time. That's garlic chives. But walking onions really do like full sun. And if you look, they just do beautiful. And you'll see, I don't think I have a single blackfly on any of these. Nope, because all these are in full sun. And the blackfly isn't happy with full sun. And if there is any on there and the birds come through, they're going to pick them off. The birds sometimes don't hug the house. There's certain areas they don't go to. So you've got two things going on here. You've got the little bush tits coming in that will go in there and just devour the blackfly. You'll see them. They'll pick it off of any plant. They love tiny insects. Your wrens like worms. So it depends on the type of birds you've got there. But again, the blackfly doesn't like the sunlight. So this alone, here's more, will get rid of your insect problems when it comes to certain aphids. And that's the one that seems to bother them, the black ones. And there are two. Look how beautiful. Full sun. See how they're popping open? These aren't ready to come off yet. Though a couple fell off and I kind of stuck them around. They're going to make it, I don't know. But they really need to stay on the mother plant until they develop a bulb. And then later on, this will turn brown. And that's the best time to cut them off. Because theoretically, they're supposed to fall over and touch the soil. If they don't, the little bulb is so dainty that it will dry up and you'll end up with nothing. Some people have stored them and said they stored them over winter. It depends on how you store them. If you throw them in potting soil that's not really wet, just the slightest bit damp, you can store them that way under potting soil. But if you leave them in the air to dry and there's not enough humidity in the room, they'll dry up. And so many of you have come back and said you bought them, you stored them, they didn't grow. Well, because they dried out. That's what walking onions do. And technically, see how they're trying to touch the ground? They want to just keep going. So that's the thing. But I'm just wanting to talk mainly about insects and how to grow them. Get them in the full sun. Don't worry about the heat. They don't mind the heat. Just make sure when you water them during the day or any time when it's really hot, water at the base of the plant, on the bottom. If you're watering in the morning, it doesn't matter. Then you can wash them and hit morning or night and you just hit them with water. They don't get powdery mildew or anything. But during the day in 100 degrees, water them at the base. Because when you hit any plant at 100 degrees, 90 degrees, what you've done is you basically have taken the green leaf, put it in, it's like putting it in a pot of boiling water and steaming it for a second. It's not going to come back because it cooks. The water and the sun just boil the leaf. And then sometimes people go and water their garden. The next day they're all dead. You don't do that. Just hit the bottom and you'll be fine. Don't bother and worry about other plants. Brassicas, your cucumbers, your zucchini. If the leaves droop during the day when it's hot, don't worry about it. They'll come back when the sun drops down at night. Just water the base. Try to keep your leaves dry in the heat and you'll be fine. But I think right there in that little corner, see how shady it is compared to the rest of the garden? I think that's going to be a perfect place to get lettuce growing for the summer. And yes, I grow lettuce in the summer. Will it bolt? It bolts fairly quick, but I get enough. If I plant enough lettuce, and it's so cheap, especially I don't even need to buy the seeds anymore because I've got so much seeds from my lettuce that if I sprinkle them there, I can eat the lettuce and then when it dies back, plant some more. And then come fall when the sun changes, and this is all full of sun, that's when I can put back the baby walking onions that are coming off the plants in the fall. So I hope it gave you some tips and ideas in case you have any problems with walking onions or plants with blackfly. Think about it. See where you've got them positioned. And just because one container is doing good doesn't mean 12 inches over doesn't have a different climate. With that, have a wonderful day. And don't forget to eat what you grow. Bye-bye. And since I'm working in the garden right now, and the onions haven't quite started to fully walk to be removed, I've decided to go ahead and set this up and propagate geraniums. And once the onions start to walk and they're ready to be taken off the tops and planted, I can just pick these up with my cuttings and plant them when I'm ready. Cool.